My ex-wife stripped me of everything, our house, the kids, and even managed to freeze my bank account using a clever legal move. She thought she had ruined me completely, but hitting rock bottom turned out to be the start of my rise. My name is Daniel Cruz, and I was 38 when my entire world came crashing down. One night, I was curled up in the back seat of my 2006 Honda Civic, parked on the far edge of a Target lot outside Denver. That beat-up car had become my shelter after the divorce left me with nothing, emotionally shattered and financially wrecked. My ex-wife, Lena, was merciless. With the help of her razor-sharp lawyer and a judge who seemed to believe her every word, she took the house, primary custody of our 2 children, and even locked down my accounts with a legal loophole. It felt like watching my entire life set ablaze, forced to stand there as the flames consumed everything I had built. I hadn't eaten in 3 days. The only money I had left, $3.47, sat in my pocket, not for food but for gas. I had a job interview the next morning, and if I couldn't make it there, nothing would change. The Civic reeked of old fast food wrappers, sweat, and despair. The seats were stiff, the air heavy, and dark thoughts crept in. Maybe it would be easier to just drive off an overpass and end it all. That's when I heard a knock on the window. My heart jumped. For a moment, I thought it was security or the cops coming to move me along. But when I sat up and squinted, I saw her. A woman, probably in her early 70s, stood beneath the dim, orange glow of the parking lot light, clutching a grocery bag. Her coat was worn, her scarf patched, her face etched with years of life, but her eyes carried a warmth that stopped me cold. I cracked the window just enough to speak. Can I help you?" I asked, bracing for her to scold me. Instead, she offered a small, gentle smile. "Honey, I've noticed you here the last few nights," she said softly, her voice weary but kind. "I work the overnight shift inside. Every time I leave, your car's in the same spot. You look like you could use a friend." Before I could answer, she slipped the bag through the gap in the window. Inside was a rotisserie chicken, a loaf of bread, an apple, and a thermos of coffee. At the bottom was a white envelope. My throat tightened. She touched my hand lightly through the glass and whispered, "I've been where you are, sweetheart. Rock bottom shows you who you are, and who really cares. You're not alone." Then she walked off toward an old, tired Honda of her own, disappearing into the night. My hands shook as I opened the envelope. Inside was $50 in cash and a handwritten note. "For gas, for food, for hope. Mary." That was it. No phone number, no address, no strings attached, just kindness. And I broke down. I cried until the windows fogged because in that moment, a stranger had shown me more compassion than my own family had in months. The next morning, I used that gas money to make it to my interview. I hadn't shaved, and my shirt was wrinkled from 3 straight days of wear. But I showed up. I pushed past the exhaustion, the hunger, the nerves, and somehow, I got the job. 6 months later, I had a small 1-bedroom apartment. The paint was peeling and the faucet leaked, but it was mine. I had food in the fridge, clean sheets on the bed, and a little money in the bank. And tucked inside my wallet was Mary's note. Whenever I felt beaten down, I'd unfold it, and I swear I could almost smell that coffee again. Feel the warmth of her hand. 2 years later, I was finally steady. Brick by brick, I had rebuilt my life. One day, I pulled out Mary's note again and realized it was time to find her. Time to thank her properly. Time to repay her. I went back to that same Target and asked around. The younger workers didn't know her, but an older cashier's face lit up. "You mean Mary Whitaker?" she said. "She retired last year. Lives on Maple Street, I think." I tracked her down. When she opened the door, her hair was grayer, her step slower, but those same kind eyes greeted me. "You probably don't remember me," I began, holding up the note like proof. "But 2 years ago you gave me this. You fed me when I was starving. You saved me when I was ready to give up. And I want you to know, I made it. I got back on my feet because of you." Her lips trembled, eyes welling with tears. "Oh honey," she whispered, pulling me into a hug that felt like home. I handed her an envelope, this time with $5,000 inside. My voice shook. "It's not enough. But it's a start." She smiled and shook her head. "I didn't do it expecting anything back. I did it because someone once did the same for me." That night, walking back to my car, it hit me. Sometimes angels don't have wings. Sometimes they're just ordinary people in worn coats with tired eyes, doing small things that keep strangers alive. Because of Mary, I made it my mission to do the same. Every year since, I've quietly helped someone struggling, just like she helped me. Because one act of kindness doesn't just save a night, it saves a life. Over the next few years, my path took turns I never saw coming. The job I landed thanks to Mary's kindness wasn't glamorous, but it was steady. I worked hard, saved up, and eventually started my own freight brokerage business. Long nights, sacrifices, and relentless effort made it grow. By the time I turned 43, I wasn't just surviving, I was thriving. I had a comfortable home, financial security, and most importantly, my dignity back. But success draws shadows. One evening, I got a letter from a law firm. My ex-wife Lena was suing me. Word had gotten around that I was doing well, and suddenly she claimed I had hidden assets during our marriage, that I had cheated her out of property, and that I owed her more support. Even though I had always paid, even when it nearly crushed me, my blood boiled. This was the same woman who left me sleeping in a car, who watched me starve without lifting a finger. And now, when I had finally rebuilt myself, she wanted another piece. The court battle dragged for months. Lena showed up in hearings with fake tears, painting me as some secret millionaire. Her lawyer tried every angle. But what she didn't know was this: I had learned from rock bottom. This time, I had every record, every receipt, every tax return. My lawyer dismantled her lies one by one. At one hearing, Lena leaned toward me and whispered, "You owe me this. You wouldn't even be here if it weren't for me." I just smiled, because I knew the truth. I wasn't standing there because of her. I was standing there because of Mary. In the end, the judge threw her case out. Not only did she get nothing, but she was ordered to cover part of my legal fees for wasting the court's time. Watching the disbelief twist across her face was a closure I hadn't even realized I needed. Afterward, she tried one last time. In the parking lot, she cornered me, tears streaming. "Daniel, please. We can start over. The kids are older now. We can make it work again. I was just angry before. We can fix this." For a moment, the old pain tugged at me. But then I remembered the Civic. The hunger. The hopelessness. And how she had left me there without a second thought. I looked her straight in the eye. "No, Lena. I already rebuilt my life once. I'm not tearing it down again." And I walked away. That night, I pulled out Mary's note again. The edges were worn, the ink faded, but the words were still clear. For gas, for food, for hope. I realized then, the best revenge wasn't crushing Lena in court. It wasn't proving her wrong. It was this: living well, moving forward, and carrying on the kindness that saved me when no one else cared. And that's exactly what I've done ever since.